Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for a little hometown heroes at the Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55 in Peevely, Missouri. It is going to be a good one. First up is your A&J Custom Creations 305 Sprint Cars. And you see there, only 7 guys here, but I can politely explain. Not that I want you to turn away, by all means. Hit that share, hit the like. Let everyone know what you're doing tonight. But, well, for the first time in, I believe, 8 years, the World of Outlaws returned to Canada, and a lot of our Canadian friends and racers here in the Coast to Coast Racing League are at the Ohsweken Speedway tonight for a little World of Outlaws action. So that is where, if you find yourself rooting for any Canadian drivers, I would say odds are they're at Ohsweken, getting to know all their friends and getting to meet some new people. But let's take a look here. Out on the racetrack first here for qualifying is the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Rip this outside here. This lap should count here. This should be the opener. What's it going to show here for Grandy? 11.34 for the 518. Brian Moore Sr., Mr. Wednesday Night with a purple Sector 2. Good enough for P2. Can he find some more time? Maybe take that top spot. Brian Moore Sr. coming around, and Mr. Moore going to stick P2 as the mayor, Steve Bixler. Right now, P3. Terry Landis finishes up P5, but Blake Chapman, he's going to start from the back tonight regardless. That's what the kid likes to do. But the 20, going to look good in the process here. Top of the charts, 11.15 for the salesman, Blake Chapman. So you see him finish up. Not going to improve that last time. Doesn't need to. Already at the top. Blackjack John Tobias rolling around here. He moves up. Well, P7 actually, because Mason Hine was behind him, but Mason moves on up to P4. Green, what can Mason do? Not going to improve. Going to stay P4 for the 89 of Mason Hine, and that's going to do it here for qualifying. All drivers have put in a lap. You see there only 10 seconds left of qualifying anyways, so not missing a whole lot here. I imagine we should get a little, the field should increase here when we roll into the 360 sprint cars. Now, by how much, I cannot tell you. And I'm not sure how the midgets will look for the final race of the evening here. It's like I say, I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't have it on my cell phone right beside me. Somewhat trying to watch that race in between. But let's take a look here at the 305 sprint cars here. One heat and one heat only here. Going to set the grid for your feature. Rounding out the field, the 21 of Blackjack John Tobias. Row 3 to the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon Terry Landis. To the inside, the 75 of the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Row 2 to the top shelf, the salesman, Blake Chapman. To the inside, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Row 1 for your A&J Custom Creations 305. Heat race number 1 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. And starting on the pole, the 89 of Mason Hine. So Mason Hine here set to lead the field to the green flag here this evening. Ryan Moore Sr. going to see if he can't maybe beat him to the punch here. Maybe pinch him down here, turn 1. Try to get the run off the top of the corner. Try to take the early lead, but we've got one more lap around the racetrack. If you're out there watching, let us know who you're rooting for here. You know, I can try to maybe ride along with them a little more than someone else here. If we got someone out there watching, wanting to root for, but I can tell you the Steve King Foundation pace car is off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We've got 6 laps to play in the clay at the I-55 raceway. Heat race number 1 is underway. Brian Sr. didn't need to pinch him down. Gets a good run on the outside. Contact for P2. Mason Hine gets a little bit of a bump there. I think that was from the Desert Demon Terry Landis, who's now feeling the pressure from the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Working on the bottom here, but Terry Landis clears him. Now he goes to the bottom on the 89. Can he work his way by Mason Hine? Meanwhile, Brian Moore Sr. off to the races, trying to just extend this lead. Is the battle still on for not even much of a battle now? 100 grand to the top shelf, clears the Mayor. Moves Stephen Bixler back to P5. Joseph Grandy with a slide job on the Desert Demon. Terry Landis trying to bring that Jeter's 161 machine back in front, clears Grandy. And all this going behind your leader, Brian Moore Sr., who just took the white flag. One more lap to go. Final time through 3 and 4. Brian Moore Sr. going to start on the pole for tonight's A&J Custom Creations 305. Sprint car A main. Mason Hine P2, 100 grand 3rd. Landis 4th. The Mayor 5th. Blackjack 6th. And Blake Chapman doing what he always does. Going to start at the tail end of the field here, so we'll see. see what we got in store for you. We're going to take that quick break. We'll be right back with your A&J Custom Creations A main here for your 305 sprint cars. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. Almost that time here to get ready to roll. Should have 25 laps here to get it done. The 305 sprint cars, and I'll tell you. So, I mean, we went live 9 minutes ago. And we're getting ready to do a little feature race in now 10 minutes here. So, could be a quick night. I warned you. Big party in Canada here tonight. That's where the World of Outlaws are at. Let's take a look at our A&J Custom Creations 305 sprint car feature starting lineup. Rounding out the field in the 20, the salesman Blake Chapman. Row 3 to the top shelf in the 21, Blackjack John DeBias. To the inside, the 75 of the mayor, Steve Bixler. Row 2 to the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. And on the inside, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Row 1 for your A&J Custom Creations 305 sprint car feature. To the outside, the 89 of Mason Hine. And starting on the pole, the 055, Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Let's see here. What do we got? 25 laps to play. I was pretty sure when I said that. So many different ones. Definitely did find myself second guessing. 25 laps here. We'll watch that Steve King Foundation pace car off the racetrack next time by. What's going on, Ant-Man? Anthony Morano out there watching on my end of things. With the green flag high, it's ready to fly. 25 laps will play in the clay at the I-55 raceway. Your A-main is underway. Good jump there for the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night Brian Morton Sr. as Mason Hine trying to rip that top shelf in the 89, build up some steam. But Mr. Wednesday Night shuts the door. Battle back on 89 to the bottom. Can he work his way up in front? The answer is no. The 55. Too big a run. The 89 work in the basement here. Mr. Wednesday Night leads lap 2. Mason Hine not going away, though. He's trying to take a peek underneath. Well, meanwhile, Terry Landis feeling the heat from the inside. 100 grand. Joseph Grandy trying to work his way onto the podium. Can the 518 work his way around the 161? Not going to be easy. No for a slide job. Going to have to make it work on the bottom. And right now, it just doesn't look like he's having that kind of luck here. The Desert Demon doing a good job of holding him off. But man, Joseph Grandy's so close. Able to edge at the line. There's contact. Terry Landis gets into Mason on. Blake Chapman then involved in Steve Bixler, the mayor, up and over on the lid. Where is the caution flag? There it is. Oh boy, the mayor. This was totally unrelated, kind of behind. We could see it somewhat happen. Now, this is through 3 and 4. It's going to happen in 1 and 2, so just drives it in a little hard. Gets that right rear up in the wall, and it's just going to go up and over, bicycling along the fence. Wild ride for the mayor there in the 75. That's our first caution of the evening. Blake Chapman going to go in for that quick repair too. Might as well. He saw a pretty big shot there with the 161, and there was definitely damage on that front end. You see come out clean now. Blake Chapman able to repair that car. Oh, Ant-Man working. Technically, I'm working too here, Ant-Man. I'm gonna be betting that I'm having a little more fun than you. You know, in the grand scheme of things, that paycheck you're bringing home is probably a lot bigger than mine. But you know, 2 different ways to sharpen the axe there, I guess. As Brian Moore Sr. going to work the bottom here as we get ready to come back to green. Joseph Grandy, P2. What can the 518 do as we're back underway? 18 to play. We got 55 Raceway. 100 grand trying to build up momentum on the outside while Blake Chapman already back up to 3rd. Not too sure there what happened on the restart. Well, now Terry Landis, he fights back, holds on to 3rd for the moment. Wrote him off a little too early, but Blake Chapman right back down to the bottom. Working that inside, give it to Terry at the line. But man, oh man, they are so close. 100 grand gets a little high coming off the corner. He's got to woe the horses. That allows Blake Chapman to make one more run, but Terry Landis says, no way, kid. Ripping that high side. Just burning them down there in that Jeter's 161. I mean, oh, Blake finally edges him out at the line. And all this going on behind your leader, Brian Moore Sr., who was just started out front, minded his own business, and is just trying to bring this thing home here as we inch closer to halfway. 13 laps to go. Joseph Grandy, what can he do here? Can he get closer? Can he defend Blake Chapman? Blake Chapman, you saw there, got in the outside wall. My apologies for how loud those cameras are. I probably need to turn them down a little bit here. Next intermission, I hadn't tried the static, but I know this race, when I go to those, no talking for me is Blackjack running 6th, Mason Hine 5th, Blake Chapman now back in a decent 4th after getting into the wall. I mean, big gap up here to P3. That's the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, and now with 9 to go, you can see the gap between P2 here, the 518 of 100 grand. Joseph Grandy as he inches ever so closer to your leader here, but not a lot of time. Grandy going to go down to the bottom here, pull as close as he can to the 55. Plenty of time, but, well, not a lot of time. 7 laps to go. Can Joseph Grandy find a way to work around that 55. To the inside through 3 and 4. Can't complete the slide job. Has to give him room, and with 6 laps to go, gonna have to build up enough momentum to go at him one more time. As Joseph Grandy sees the hourglass, not a lot of sand left. 5 laps to go as Terry Landis. Oh, he gets in the outside wall through 1 and 2. Now he becomes meat here. The salesman looking back low, trying to take back over P3. Oh, too close to call at the line as the battle heating up once again up front. Rolling the top through 3 and 4. Coming to 3, fingers in the air, 3 to go. Joseph looking low here through the bottom 1 and 2. He builds up some speed, but man, he needs to slide up to the outside wall and just can't do that. When he looks under the 55, he's going to try it one more time, side by side. We're going down the backstretch. 2 laps to go here. Coming to the white flag, slide job for the lead. White flag in the air, Brian Moore Sr. back to the bottom. Mr. Wednesday night with a slide job for the lead. Gonna go down. He's gonna protect Joseph Grandy hard into the inside wall. Checkered flag wave for Brian Moore Sr. Blake Chapman, P2, Terry Landis, third, and 100 grand. Losing out, coming to the line is Brian Moore Sr. doing what he has to do on the white flag lap, protects the bottom, and he brings home the win here. Don't know if he officially led all the laps. Grandy may have robbed one of those from him, but either way, brings the checkered flag home in dominating fashion. Good run there for the 55 of Brian Moore Sr. And now we're going to see if we can't get a word here with the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. And we'll let him work his way on up into the Discord here. I see them guys. They're down there in their team chat. They may still be BSing a little bit, so let them have their time. Pull them up. And this gives me a chance to glance down at that cell phone and tell you that Flight B qualifying right now, David Gravel is on the pole. Sheldon Hodenshield got the pole apparently in Flight A. That's what the top of the screen is telling me, so pretty cool. Let's go ahead. He made his way up here. Let's pull him up before anybody shows up in there, and I'll pull you up while you're talking. Hey, Terry, man, I'll tell you, not your conventional third place. You know, you think you're battling for third. You lose it there to your teammate, but then all of a sudden you see that wounded duck going there through 3 and 4. I mean, what are you thinking getting to take P3 back at the line?
I was hoping I wouldn't hit him and knock him forward, and beat me across the line.
Yeah,
But I just missed him at the end there.
it seemed like, and this is obviously no shot at you, Terry. We know I make mistakes all the time. Blake did the same. You guys looked, I mean, dude, you looked like you were arguably maybe the second quickest car out there. But man, it just seemed like it was tricky tonight, that it was sucking us up in the wall. I mean, Blake had it too. What was the deal with the racetrack tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. It sucked you in, like you said, and it was really tricky, like Joseph did. He tried, he was gonna hit the wall. He took it in too low because you hit that spot, and then it got really slick at the end there. So yeah, you got too close to the cushion, and it just sucked you in.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, it seemed like you and Blake, too, you had a lot of fun. I mean, we were watching you guys battle side by side, and that's where I was kind of saying you were fast. It looked like you were rolling that top, but Grandy just kind of right there in front of you. You had nowhere to go. But, man, do we expect this much of a racy track here when we come in with the 360s? Because I'm fairly impressed with this. I mean, we're watching you guys right now in the slow-mo. You're up top. Grandy's in the middle. Blake's on the bottom. I mean, we had 3 lines for a little bit.
Yeah, the track was really racy. And with 360s, it all depends how many cars show up, but this track's usually good with no matter how many cars are there. It's good and racy.
Well, hey, Terry, congratulations, man. Good P3. You got anybody you want to thank here? I'm sure you keep this up. I'll be talking to you a couple more times tonight.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Some guy makes golf clubs and does stuff to him, Steve. And a cousin and Shaggy TV and C2C because it's a great place to race. And Kreitzold Track Parts. If you spend something, give them a call and they'll help you out. the guys back at KSR and Blake. It's always fun running against him. And Galen's homegrown popcorn. Put cart in the checkout, and you'll get 50% off. And Jeter and my wife Judy.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Terry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
oh, I think I forgot AJ. Yeah, AJ Custom Creations. They make great trophies.
Yeah, they do. I'm excited to see those trophies that he comes out with for the Speed Week that we just had. That
Yeah.
was a pretty good event. But Terry, congratulations, man. Hopefully, I'm talking to you again later.
All right, Shaggy. Thanks.
Go ahead. Let's bring up this man, his teammate, driver of the 20, Blake Chapman. Man, I tell you the same thing I told Terry. You think with a couple laps to go, you guys are in a battle for third. All of a sudden, man, you're rolling through 3 and 4 on the final lap. You take over P2. What's going through your head?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever felt this slow before and got P2. It was a little weird race there. Yeah, I mean, definitely probably third place car, but Grandy got into the wall there, it looked like on the last lap. And, fortunately he went high and I was low, and Terry was, a little ways behind me, and he had enough time to react. So no harm, no foul there. And we were able to pick up another spot. But yeah, hopefully we can get a couple more cars in these 360s so the track can slick off a little bit more. But a couple lines opened up during this race for sure. Just wish that bottom was uh, a little bit quicker tonight. Maybe we could have done something down there. But my own mistake shot me in the foot there, and that's ultimately why we weren't able to really compete there for a win.
Well, I mean, now, were you playing better safe than sorry? Because obviously we have one caution, Blake. It happened behind you with the mayor there. He gets in the outside wall. But at the same time, I saw, big checkup in front of you. You get in the back of Terry pretty hard. Did you need to make that pit stop, or is that just, hey, we got a caution, I might as well? Was it out of necessity?
Yeah, I absolutely needed that caution. If we didn't get that caution, it was going to be a long race for me because that car was pretty screwed up in that front end. So, yeah, I was definitely hoping for a caution. I figured after that initial contact, we probably weren't going to get one. But, fortunately, we got bailed out there. Like you said, the mayor must have gotten into the wall or something, and the caution came out, which
Oh,
is.
he went for a ride along that wall. You'll have to check that out. He went for a ride. I don't know if he's going to be making golf clubs this week, Blake.
Hopefully he's feeling well enough to run these 360s and midgets, but we'll have to see.
Well, hey, man, hell of a run here on the P2. I love what you do. Come out there, get the pole. Start from the back just to test yourself, man, and you end up, like you say, arguably deserve P3. But, hey, man, you'll take a P2 anytime. Congratulations, kid. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for on with me tonight. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations for sponsoring this division. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website and don't forget to use code CART, that's CART at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. I got to thank Steve at Mauer Farm Management and also Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. Like he said, he might have to take a week or two off from making those golf clubs if he took too much of a ride, but we wish him well. And of course, I got to thank everyone that helps put this league on, and I got to thank my long lost cousin Shaggy for doing the broadcast.
Well, hey, man, one more before you get out of here. You think with the upgrade in power, we can maybe work the bottom a little bit more here in this 360, or we kind of top dominant again?
Yeah, I sure hope so. I think it'll come in. If this track gets slicked off, just hopefully I'm a little bit better in this race than I was in this next race than I was in this race. I think all that modified racing's got me a little rusty in these sprint cars.
All right, man. We'll go get them. I think you got about 20 minutes here. I don't think we can roll till 7:45. So take a break. Go get them, man. Put some laps in. Good luck, Blake.
Thanks, Shaggy.
And now we're going to bring up the man of the hour here, your winner in the 558. Man, Brian, I'll tell you what, dude. It looked like it was going to be an easy ride for you. I mean, you were out front cruising 20 laps or so, and then all of a sudden, man, it just seemed like Grandy maybe found a little something those last couple laps, because I'm telling you, dude, when you go back and watch this thing, I mean, he was in second that whole time, not finding you at all. I mean, you're pulling away, if anything. And then right at the end, dude, he made it interesting. I mean, what was going through your head? That was fun to watch.
Well, that was a cool race. I don't know where he came from, but my line.
I don't either, and I watched it.
and my line in 1 and 2 was just going away. I mean, at first I was just running the top all on both ends, and then somebody showed me a nose in 1 and 2, and I thought, man, maybe the middle's the place to be in 1 and 2. And 3 and 4 felt great on the top. I was getting a heck of a run coming down the front straightaway off the top, off of 4. But in 1 and 2, man, once I tried that middle line, man, it hooked up, and I thought, wow, hey, that's the way to go. You just slide right through the slick. As soon as you got through the slick in the middle, it was good, tacky dirt all the way coming out. And man, I was getting a heck of a run doing that, and that's what gave me that big lead, I think. And then once
What you described there, yeah, was that kind of weird for you, Brian? Because I mean, obviously, sometimes we'll get it, the 360s, we can roll through that slick a little bit, but man,
yeah, right.
that's not that often in this 305. So did it kind of catch you by surprise?
It kind of did, but by the same token, I like that line because man, you can really gang on people because not too many people want to run that line. They either want to run the top or the bottom, and usually it's the top. And if you can hit that line good, you can gang on a guy big time doing that. I know you've done that before because I've seen you stick your nose in there a few times. But yeah, it
Yeah,
kind of
in the
surprised me in
360s for sure. But
in
I'm telling you,
in the
Brian, you
305.
guys
Yeah,
blow my mind with these 305s. You'd think, less power. Okay, like you said, yeah, I can in the 360s. I don't know how you guys do these. I
uh,
lose momentum too bad. I mean, the way you guys rip the top, and you got to keep it straight. To me, it's just
yeah.
so much scarier than that 360 because you can kind of throttle down and turn yourself out of it. But man, with these things, you gotta know what you're doing, dude.
And a lot of that is just kind of burping the throttle a little bit just to keep it from getting loose on you. And kind of doing that and keeping the wing forward helps a lot with these cars too. So
Well, man,
that's a lot of well. And when he caught me and we had that restart, let me go back to that because uh, on that restart, I thought, man, I'm just going to go to the bottom because it looked like there was plenty down there. And I thought, man, if I get a good jump on him, I'm just going to go to the bottom and roll that bottom these last couple laps. And I don't know if he tagged that inside wall to keep from getting into me or what he did there at the end. But I sure hated that happened to him because I think if he would have stuck it on the top, he would have went by me.
yeah,
But
just a case of, he trying to not get into you, maybe drove it in a little bit too hard, man. But after getting
yeah,
that slider thrown on you the lap before when the white flag's in the air, you did exactly what you had to do. Protect that bottom, man. And that's why you're bringing home the checkered flag. And, dude, it's only
yeah.
race 1 tonight. We feeling good here going into the 360s before I let you say your thank yous?
Yeah, I'm feeling real good. When there's not a whole lot of guys here, I can do better because the track doesn't slick up all that much, and I'm still trying to figure out them real slick tracks. So in Renegades, I still struggle because I don't run a lot of real slick tracks. It's
Yeah, and they're
the
in there
track's
practicing
like,
that whole time we're racing, so the track's completely gone. Dude, I
oh
feel
wow,
your pain on that. I hate that. Like they'll be practicing the whole time we're racing. I'll go in there, and that you just get in there, and the track looks like it's a glass coffee table. It's
yeah, and then
unbelievable.
it's tough. Yeah, I struggle with that still. Yeah,
Well, Brian, you're able to strut your stuff here tonight, and I mean, arguably, no offense,
finally
but
got a
but
win
but you're
here.
not. Yeah, you're not the favorite in the 305s. You're one of the favorites
No.
in the 360s. So I'm looking forward to seeing if you can go back to back here, man. Hell of a run. Congratulations. Who you want to thank, bud?
Well, again, I guess the sponsor for tonight's Flatline Racing
A&J
Bodies,
Custom Creations for this one, and then the
A and
rest are
J.
Flatline. Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, A and J, man, I appreciate them giving us a place to run, and you for the broadcast, and Coast to Coast Racing and all them guys, everybody behind the scenes in Coast to Coast. I appreciate everything everybody does there, and yeah, give a shout out to my brother Rick and Rona. I know they'll probably be watching it later tonight, or he likes to watch them live. So, hey, brother, we got a win finally this season.
Yeah, man. I hate sorry I made you guys talk so long, Brian, but if you look at the schedule, we're not allowed to race till 7:45. So you still got plenty of time here, about 15 minutes before we can even roll. So I appreciate you
Oh,
letting me talk your ear off, bud, and milking this a little bit. But hell of a run, Brian, and man, hopefully I'm
thanks.
talking to you
Thanks.
again later.
All right. I hope so. Thanks, Shay.
Brian Moore Sr. bringing home the checkered flag there. You saw it. Now he's bringing home there. This is actually crossing the line for the checker. You see it wave. That was the final lap battle. Grandy tried to take a peek on the inside, but Brian doing what he had to do, shut the door, brings home the checkered flag. And with that, we're going to step away here. You heard me tell him 7:45 is the earliest we can go. I'll come back after the ad and hang out a little bit for practice. May not talk the whole time. May do a little just driver cameras, stuff like that. But hey, we'll be ready to roll here. Quarter of. Stick around on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be back with your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Cars.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion, trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get right when we were talking about it.
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
I didn't feel right just playing ads over and over again. We'll come back, hang out a little bit. Like I say, I'm going to have myself muted. Hopefully you do not hear myself in the background. I popped my headset on and realized I never turned the sound off. So Dirt Vision, if you had 4 seconds of your announcer on there, please do. It was an accident. I mean, I do pay $300 a year for Dirt Vision, so get over it. 360 sprint cars here at the I-55 Raceway. These are presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. And, well, as you saw there. Okay, so this is where I'm nice. I came back early. I'm a big dummy. This is too loud for you guys. I can see it. You probably can't hear me at certain points. I got to turn down these cameras a little for the 360s. Now, for just a sec, you'll get the behind-the-scenes looks that I hate to show you. Oh, wow. Okay, they're advancing this early. Steve Bixler taking over for Dino this week. Yeah, because Dino is up there in Canada as well for that race. Like I say, according to the schedule, we're not supposed to start this until 7:45. It's no big deal. It's a little early. Who cares? I don't care, personally, but let's take a look here. If the driver misses, they might care. Well, let's see here. The 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, he gets ready. He's rolling through 3 and 4. What's lap number 1 look like here for the Desert Demon? Going to be the first time we see a 10:88 for the 161. Mr. Wednesday Night, your 3:05 winner. And I told you one of the favorites coming in was P1. Got knocked off the top by 100 grand, but green, purple, Brian Moore Sr., top of the charts, Mr. Wednesday Night. But Grandy says, no thanks, I'll take that back, the 518 to the top. As Blake Chapman rolling that 20 around, what can the salesman do? He's going to start in the back either way. This is all about flexing his muscles. The kid, purple sector 2, P2. Can he improve one more lap? Slower through 1 and 2. Slower through 3 and 4. Going to stay P2, 100 grand. Going to qualify on the pole. And now we take a look. 40 seconds left here in qualifying. And then we'll get ready to roll into your flatline racing bodies. Heat race number 1. Should have one and only heat race here tonight. And then we'll have a 25-lap feature after we run the heat to set that starting grid. I'm going to try a pre-programmed button here. So the grid should maybe pop up automatically if I have, my Jedi Master, Ryan Seneca. He is the man. I work with him on Virtual Grip Network. You should check out that channel on YouTube. We do some 3-man commentating. I actually work with John Hine in one of them on Sunday nights, and he has taught me so much. Yes, it did work. You're not watching. But thank you, Ryan. Row 3 to the outside, the Desert Demon in the 161. Terry Landis to the inside, the Mayor in the 75. Steve Bixler. 100 grand. Joseph Grandy lines up on the outside of row number 2 in the 518. Into his inside, the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman. Row 1 for heat race number 1, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. To the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. And starting on the pole, the 7, 8, 9, Akale Bixler. Let's see what Bixler's got here. Has a chance to really flex his stuff here. He knows he's got to go. I mean, Brian Moore, he won the 305 sprint car race that we just had. Going to be one of the favorites here, as I've told you, and he's got himself a good starting position. So Cale Bixler needs to do something, needs to try to shake it up here. Go big or go home here at the I-55 Raceway as the Steve King Foundation pace car pulls off. The green flag is high. And boy, is she ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay. Heat race number 1 is underway. Good run on the outside once again from Brian Moore Sr. And man, Brian to the lead here early at I-55 is the Hornet's Nest behind him, really getting all shook up. The 518, 100 grand, trying to work the middle here. Not going to be easy, though. Is Cale Bixler putting up a fight. Little bit of contact. Cale moves up the racetrack. He's in the outside wall. He's going to go to the back. The Desert Demon, Terry Landis, he's in the wall. Steve Bixler with a slide job. Not enough room. Little bit of contact. The Desert Demon in the outside wall. His steering's broke. Hard in the wall in 3 and 4. And oh, man, we're going to have a Crichton Sim Racing back row here to start this field when we get going. But white flag in the air, 1 lap to play here Grandy trying to make it easy on himself, trying to get it done here in the heat race, but he ran out of time. Checkered flag waves. Mr. Wednesday Night brings it home. Hunter Graham, P2, the mayor, third. Cale Bixler, fourth. And Terry Landis and Blake Chapman round out the field. As we step away, we'll be right back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Stick around. We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little over 30 seconds here till we get ready to play in the clay. 25 laps, 6 drivers at the I-55 Raceway. Like I say, I would never blame the World of Outlaws, but I do blame the World of Outlaws for our low car count tonight. All of our Canadian racers, man, they're all at Osh Weekend, at least the ones that live near there. Not one Canadian on the grid tonight. That is very, very unlike C2C. All Americans tonight, and all of them have taken turns slapping the wall, going down the front stretch here as we come to a close on warm-ups. The Desert Demon shaking it up. Blake Chapman selling popcorn to the fans, and I think that was their little kid, 3 and 4. But Blake, what can you do? He's having fun out there, but I don't know how much fun this is going to be. You'll see. Yeah, there's the starting grid. Row 3, man. Crate Sim Racing to the outside. The salesman, Blake Chapman. And on the inside, in the 161, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row 2. We got a father-son row 2, man. Quite a race here. Cale to the outside in the 789, and to the inside is Pops, the mayor, in the 75, Steve Bixler. Row 1 for your flatline racing bodies, 360 sprint car, A main to the outside in the 518, 100 grand, Joseph Grandy, and starting on the pole, the 055. Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. 'Cause 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 'c Let's see here as we get ready to go play here. Should be, yep, 25 laps once again. And just remember, after this, we've got the wingless midget sprint cars coming up. And, well, I don't expect a lot of cars for that one either here. If we've only got 6 for this one, I'd be shocked if we had more. I hope we do. We'll see here. As we pace around and get ready to go. Blake Chapman, you see there, bringing up the tail end of the field. Cale Bixler may have asked for an EOL. He moved. No, okay, no, never mind. He's just hanging out back further. I realized Landis still is on the inside, but he's just listed 4th because, well, they're hanging out a little bit. Hanging back as the Steve King Foundation pace car gets ready to pull off. 25 laps to play in the clay at the I-55 Raceway. The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. Brian Moore Sr. drops the hammer and we're underway. Good jump there for the 518 on the outside. He's going to take the lead. Maybe wanted to finish P2 and they good move by 100 grand. And Mr. Wednesday Night swinging the hammer down low, but the battle up for 3rd here was Blake. Got back in line, ducks back to the bottom, eaten up behind as the Desert Demon taking a peek low on the mare. Blake Chapman still working the inside here, trying to move on up to P3. What can he do in that Galen's popcorn number 20? The answer is he gets it done, and he gets it done quick. Up to P3, battle on for P2. Blake Chapman says, let me show you what I can do, cuz. Works the inside on up to P2. Blake Chapman, man, making quick work, started at the tail end of the field. The guy who started back there with him, the 161, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. He has not had the same success here as his teammate. As he's trying to work, but just can't get it done. As Cale Bixler trying to reel back in Mr. Wednesday Night here. We could have a battle for that final step of the podium as the battle's up for the lead. Blake took a peek through 1 and 2, finished the job in 3 and 4. New leader, lap 18, the salesman. Working the bottom here at I-55. Tried to warn the drivers in that interview. He said, do we think we're going to get it inside, kid? Lo and behold, he was honest. He said, yes, I do. And if it is, I'm going to work it there. And Blake Chapman up front by a country mile over the 518. Who's just watching that gap grow bigger. Almost a second to the leader. As Brian Moore Sr. looks right off that nose. See that thing shaking, rattling, man. All sorts of bumps here in Peevely, Missouri. You just got to find that lane that works for you, that one that works best. Try to get it to roll. And Mr. Wednesday Night's doing exactly that. Is Cale Bixler. Let's hop on back one. Gonna ride on board with him. We got one on the side panel with the 789 tonight. And he's going that extra lane up. Almost 2 lanes. Make it 3. The 789 swinging it high, wide, and handsome. He's trying to reel in the 055, but man, he's got a lot of work to do. He's got about half a second. You see it there on the leaderboard. Is meanwhile out front, 1.6 up the road from Joseph Grandy is this man, Blake Chapman, all by himself. Just wants this thing, needs this thing to stay green. Well, meanwhile, maybe the 789. Maybe this battle that's been going on all race, maybe they need a caution here, but they don't want to be in. As Terry worked in the inside, gets P5 at the line for maybe the first time, the 161. Oh, gets to the outside wall going down the backstretch. Terry Landis got to roll it down. Oh, loses back. And try to go to work there on the 75 Sun right in front of him in that 789 Cale Bixler, but we're down to 7 to go because this guy is just setting the pace out front. Absolutely gone. Let's sit here at the start-finish line. Blake. Grandy. Rest of field. I mean, unbelievable for the kid is here. He should roll, yep, right into 3. And, man, unbelievable Grandy. Having to really put some work in here, trying to reel him in, but no luck because it's just grown bigger and bigger Is Terry Landis working the bottom, trying to move up the P4. The Desert Demon working the inside here as Cale Bixler rips that outside. He's looked good there tonight, but it's maybe starting to fade. Here's the 161. Finding some grip in the center of the corner as Cale gets in the outside wall. Loses a lot of momentum, maybe broke the right front, gonna slow her down, and man, Blake Chapman coming around. He's got a lap and a half to go, and the top three looking pretty settled here as Blake. White flag in the air, one more lap to go for the kid. Blake Chapman started in the back, did not take him long to answer the door and get up top. Blake Chapman wins here at the I-55 Raceway. Joseph Grandy P2, Mr. Wednesday Night third, the Desert Demon fourth, the Mayor fifth, and Cale Bixler with the last lap, or really not last lap, I think there were 3 to go there. Got in that outside wall, I think broke the steering, and Cale never really recovered. But had a good run up until then. But congratulations to the popcorn man, Blake Chapman, getting it done here in a flag to flag race at the I-55 Raceway. Man, these guys are just chewing through it tonight. Going quick here. Making it look easy, and I can tell you it is not that easy. As we'll see here, right now we only have our P2 finisher up here, so we're going to wait for Brian Moore Sr. We knew I warned you guys that we'd probably be talking to him again, Brian. I told you during your interview you were one of the favorites coming in. Now, man, I'll tell you, those two up front, they did not make it look easy tonight, but you were making them pace there for the beginning. Talk us through the start of that race. It just seemed like that, maybe, in hindsight, Brian, obviously you do what you got to do, but maybe finishing P2 in that heat race was better than winning. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought about that in the last lap of that heat race. I thought, man, I'd rather start on the outside in this feature. So, but man, the competitor in you just can't lift sometimes, and give the other guy the win. But yeah, that was kind of the place you had to be. And I knew, man, if I stuck it in that bottom, maybe I could hang with him for a lap or two. But eventually, I'm going to have to just jump up there behind him and hope I can hang with him.
No,
and then when Blake went by me on the bottom, I thought, well, man, maybe I'll go down there and just follow Blake, maybe. But I couldn't run that line like Blake was. He's got that bottom line figured out pretty good. He was hitting it tonight.
They're only man, Brian. Well, we both know I'm not one of them down there on the bottom, but I think there may be 2 or 3 other guys in here. Maybe Patrick Spangler. I want to say Anthony Morano. Man, some of those guys can run the bottom. When you figure it out, man, let me know because they've got so much speed down there. It's unbelievable. But you hit the nail right on the head, man. Going back to you said, you want to maybe finish P2, but there's no way the racer and you can let that happen. Yeah. So you went out there, you did what you had to do, and man, you ended up with 2 podiums tonight. So at the end of the day, that's pretty good. Are we gonna get you to play around in the midgets at all, or are you gonna call it quits after this?
Well, I usually don't run the midgets, but just to get a car count tonight, I'll go ahead and run them.
Well, hey, man.
To see everybody fall out, but yeah, it's fun.
We blame everybody's at that World of Outlaws race, Brian. That's what it is. No, they really are. All the Canadians, yeah, because they're finally at that that track that Roger and them always talked about, Oshweekend. They finally have the World of Outlaws. They're there tonight and tomorrow. So we're going to get like no Canadians these next 2 nights, man. They're all up. I think Marty even went up there. There are a couple from the American side that went up there. So
I think I read that on Facebook or somewhere. So
Y-
yeah, cool.
Yeah, so tomorrow night definitely. Well, I want you to get it. So if you're out there listening, close your ears. But tomorrow night may be a chance to sneak one, sneak a
I
good
know
finish
that's
out
just
with
what I
those
was
guys
thinking. I
going.
wasn't going to say it out loud though. Thanks, Shaggy. Now
Yeah,
everybody will show up just so I won't get on the
that's what I'm
podium.
saying. I'm
But
thinking about if I can get home from golf in time, I might hop in that big block modified before I do the late
there you
models
go.
just to try to get one. But man, Brian, you look good tonight. Congratulations, man! A win in a third. That's a hell of a way to kick off the night. So great run, man. Who you want to thank?
Just Flatline Racing Buddies and you guys, you for putting on this broadcast and Coast to Coast Racing, everybody behind the scenes again, and I got to give a shout out to Young Guns Creations for the wrap that they put on my cars for me. So, and then just a hello to my brother Rick. Man, we got on the podium, but not another win. So, oh well. It's hard to beat them guys in the 360s. Gotta give my hat off to them guys.
Yeah, I can honestly say I don't think I think I've beaten Grandy a couple times because he used to race in the B series, but unless Blake has wrecked, I have never beat Blake Chapman. I can honestly say
Right. Unless he's wrecked or got some damage that he
that.
didn't
Yeah,
pull in the pits to fix, you know. uh,
exactly. Yeah, because if he has time to pull in the pits, he will pass me back. You're
yeah.
exactly right.
You know, yeah. So yeah, hats off to them guys for a good run tonight, and I'm happy with a podium.
Well, hey man, good job, and look forward to seeing you here in the midgets, man. Give him hell. You can't be any worse than I was in those things. I can tell you that for sure.
All right, we'll give it a shot.
Go get him.
Thanks.
Mr. Wednesday night bringing home P3. Now we're going to bring up the man who finished P2 in the 518 100 grand. Man, oh man, you had pace, but all of a sudden, Blake had the key, unlocked the bottom. I mean, he was just so quick down there. Was there anything he could have done different?
Well, I figured the track was so tacky. I figured about was going to be there. I'm working with no brakes right now, so was it going to work for me? I'm trying to want to stay away from people in case I do something happens. I do need to hit the brakes.
Oh man, you got a messed up wheel assembly or something going on. What's going on there? What pedals do you run?
Yeah, one of my I've been using my clutch pedal because my original brake pedal broke, and now my clutch pedal's broke. So gotta finagle it here a little later, see if I can get something done with it. But my gas pedal works. That's all I need for the moment.
Well, what kind of wheel do you use?
I I don't even think they make them anymore. They're custom made. I can't remember where the heck they're
I
out
didn't
of.
know if you were one of those like PlayStation Logitech ones because I actually have a spare set of pedals from my old wheel. I was going to say you could have them, but if it's
No,
not
I got
like
them
that-
off my old man, and I think the guy who built them don't build them anymore. So I would probably have to get a new set if I can't figure it out.
Yeah, that's no good. But hey, Joe, man, still able to bring home a P2. Hell of a run, man. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
All the guys over at Inferno, Catalytic Recovery, West End Tone and Repair, Hinkle Homes, D&T Designs, A&J Custom Creations, Highline, Syntography, all the guys over at Coast to Coast, and always you, man, for doing the broadcast.
Hey, man, great run. Look forward to talking to you again here. You going to race it all tomorrow? A lot of those Canadians are going to still be watching the World of Outlaws.
Maybe. We'll see. I'll probably stick in one of them at least for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to try to sneak in for the big blocks. Please don't be that one because you'll kick my, what. Show up for the small blocks. But hey, great run, man. Good job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Grandy bringing home P2, and now we get to bring up the man of the hour. Blake, I pried at you, and I'm surprised. You admitted that you were going to try the bottom. It was there, and nobody went down there and blocked it. Nobody listened to your interview. They didn't care. You drove by, man. You made it look easy, dude. How'd that race car feel?
Yeah, it really felt pretty good. I was kind of surprised that the bottom was that good. I figured with these cars you'd have enough momentum that the top was going to be the place to be. And it felt good that first lap. I got around two cars on the outside, and then everyone else was up top. So I decided, okay, let's see what's down there on the bottom. And yeah, I was able to pick them off. The car was really, really good down there. And once I got around Grandy there for the lead, it was just set sail. And that bottom, I figured it wasn't going to go away really at all during the race since there's only like 6 cars here tonight. But It did go a little away just a little bit towards the end, but by then we already had a big enough of a lead. We didn't really have to worry about it too much. So, just really a complete different car in these 305s. The line I was running would not have worked in the 305s. We get up on that little lip that's on the bottom and it really bogs down the cars. And I had to get this thing a little sideways in corner entry, and that would have slowed me down too. So, fortunate for this extra power that we got in these 360s that we're able to power around the bottom and come home with a win here.
Obviously, I know you don't want to give the ticket away in warm-ups, but didn't see you work the bottom a lot. So did you just kind of find the speed there? I mean, obviously starting in the back, that's your thing, but having to go to the bottom, when everybody else moves up to the top, did you just kind of find it, or did you know it was going to be there?
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be there, really. I tried the bottom a little bit early on in warm up, but towards the end, I was just trying to get a feel for that cushion to see how far up the fast line was up top. So, yeah, I really didn't know what was down there. And, like I said, everyone else was up top. So I'm like, screw it. Let's just go down here and see what was down there. And a lot of grip was down there, that's for sure. And we were able to use that to come home with a win.
Yeah, man, you made that thing eat down there in the bottom tonight, especially through 3 and 4. Good job of cocking that thing in sideways and really launching it off straight, man. You look good. Congratulations on another win. Who you want to thank, brother?
Yeah, I got to thank the family for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at KSR. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this division. I got to thank Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. Got to thank Mauer Farm Management. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They have some absolutely delicious popcorn. And if you want to see for yourself, you can head over to their website. And don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 50% off of your order. And I got to thank everyone that involved in putting this league on, and you for broadcasting, Shaggy.
Well, hey, man, hell of a run. Look forward to seeing what you can do here in the midgets, man. Good luck.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Blake Chapman bringing home another win here in the 360s. Race number 2 here for Hometown Heroes. Stick around. We got one more. The Flatline Racing Bodies midget sprint cars coming up next after a short break. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion, trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight when we talked about it.
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network for your flatline racing bodies. Midget sprint cars here is 6 drivers once again. No Brandon Templeton. That's kind of a surprise. Brandon Templeton's been running these pretty well this year. But no B-Temp for the moment, as it is 8:15, so not too sure when we'll roll here. Probably about getting ready to. I'd asked Jack if I had time to go to the bathroom after that last one, but I went a little quicker than I thought. So Jack probably doing the nice thing waiting for me, as he was. Checkered flag waves. Appreciate that, Jack. That's why we call him the gentleman. As we get ready to go for qualifying now, with no Brandon Templeton, we have no idea who will be the first car out on the racetrack for qualifying. But I am watching here right now. We're in heat race number 4 in Dylan Westbrook. Not too sure if the 47X driver still sponsors Coast to Coast. I know he did for the longest time, so can't not help but root for that guy. He is in your 5th and final transfer right now, so go get him, Dylan Westbrook. As Bob the Good comes around, he should have the first lap here. See what the time says as he crosses the line. Going to be P2, not far off from the gentleman Jack hit either. Jack may have had no offense, Bob, but a rough lap because Terry just smoked him by a 1/10 of a second. The Desert Demon at the top of the charts. Jack hit coming around. Second time even slower. Terry finds time. Blake, can he find a little more time? Right now, purple sector 2, Blake Chapman. P2, too slow in sector 1. Couldn't find the time. And 5 of the 6 drivers have put in a time. Not too sure if Brian Moore Sr. will put in a qualifying time, or if he even still stuck around. He might just be, wanting to be comfortable here, start in the back of the heat race, because I know he doesn't drive these cars a lot, but I'm sure in no time at all he's going to figure that one out. As you see there, 20 seconds till we roll over. Put it up there real quick, but we'll get ready to pop up this starting grid as soon as we can. And Jack's still out there tuning in laps. You can do this. Now he's going to slow down that I click on him. Out there just putting in laps. Definitely not proud of that qualifying effort. So he was trying to find some time, look to improve a little bit. Let's take a look. That starting lineup here for your Flatline Racing Bodies Heat Race number 1, row 3 to the outside. Mr. Wednesday Night Brian Moore Sr. to the inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row 2 to the top shelf, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. To the inside, his teammate in the 20, the salesman, Blake Chapman. Row 1 for heat race number 1. Winner starts on the pole. Well, actually, this will set our feature lineup starting order, but to the outside in the 75, the mayor, Steve Bixler. And starting on the pole, the 217 of the gentleman, Jack Hitt. Oh, man, I can't believe my eyes went to inside of row 2 there. I almost announced Blake Chapman twice. Here's look the starting line or the leaderboard here. Blake Chapman will get set to bring the field to the green flag as we roll down the backstretch for the final time. He's got the mare to his outside, the Desert Demon. 1 row back to the top shelf, and Bob DeGood behind him, so he's going to have to work for it. Not going to be easy. Green flag high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay. Heat race number 1 is underway. Blake Chapman trying to do the dance early here. Get out to a big lead as Jack Hitt, one of the favorites here every time in a midget sprint car, finds himself working behind 3 wide. Let's get back out here. There, Brian Moore Sr. got out of that real quick. A little contact there. Bob DeGood shook up. He gets into Mr. Wednesday Night. They go around. We still roll, but Jack Hitt way off the pace in P4 as Steven Bixler trying to hold off Terry Landis in the battle for P2 with 3 laps to go. Terry Landis, what can he do here? He's got the Judy special working here. Trying to find some grip. 2 laps to play, and man, we're running out of time. He gets into that inside wall, bicycles up. Jack Hitt, you see way far back, not close enough to even see what's going on. But the white flag waved, 1 lap to go here. Blake Chapman looking to make it 2 in a row here. Gonna start on the pole as he takes home the checkered flag. Steve Bixler 2nd, Landis 3rd, and the gentleman coming home 4th. Bob DeGood 5th, and Brian Moore Sr. P6. We're gonna step away, and we'll be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies A main right after this. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and well, why isn't my overlays working? Where is yours? Let me click your refresh button. See if that does it here. There we go. That was a little weird. Normally the other way around. You know, yours will work, mine won't. But hey, we'll take it. Checkered flag waves on warm-ups. Jack Hitt at the top. Blake Chapman second. Terry Landis third. Bixler, Moore, and no lap time there from Bob DeGood as we get ready to take a look at our starting lineup for our third and final race here this evening. Presented to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Row 3 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. to the inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row 2 to the outside, in the 217, the gentleman Jack Hitt, into the inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row 1 for your Flatline Racing Bodies Midget Sprint Car feature to the outside, the 75 of the Mayor, Steve Bixler, and starting on the pole, the 20 of the Salesman, Blake Chapman. As here we go. We're going to take one more trip around the sun here before the Steve King Foundation pace car pulls off and we get ready to go play for real. Jack Hitt. Going to start in the back here, doing a Blake Chapman. I didn't know Jack was doing this. Going to start in the back here. Jack, I told you, he is the favorite coming in the midgets. I think many people would debate that. He's a dog. He knows how to bite the bone. Here's the green flags high. It's ready to fly. We've got 25 laps to play in the clay at the I-55 Raceway. We're underway. Good jump here for the lead 3. And Steve Bixler barking. He has got that machine rolling. He had Blake fighting here. But Blake holds on for lap number 1. But Bixler trying to swing back is Brian Moore Sr. Doesn't drive these a lot. Looks like he's doing just fine in that 055. Keeping pace with the gang here as the gentleman works the inside. Jack Hitt trying to get that Hooters machine nice and old. Trying to roll that thing on the inside. And Terry Landis maybe log jamming him a bit. Trying to work that inside on the Mayor, Steve Bixler. And that is not what Jack Hitt wants to see. But that's what your leader, Blake Chapman, wants to see, is you see him out front. But Steve Bixler keeping tow here in P2. The Mayor rolling right now. One mistake from your leader. And, I mean, Steve could realistically take this lead over. But now Terry Landis back shopping down low. He hikes it up on the inside. Almost gets into the inside wall. And Terry Landis, man, he's got pace. As you see behind the gentleman, able to clear Mr. Wednesday Night. Move Jack Hitt on up to P4. 18 laps to go here for the 217. Blake Chapman extending that lead a little bit. Almost has it. Does get it to climb there in the center of the corner to that half a second mark. Steve Bixler may be losing a little bit of time on entry, but getting it all back, climbing it down the straightaways. And that's because he's going for such a hike on the corner entry. He's really gaining steam coming off. But all in all, I think Blake is gaining a little more than he's given up with that aggressive dive on in. And that's where Terry Landis, he's trying to work it. He's trying to do what Blake does, but he can't float it up to the outside. Because if he drives it in there too deep, he's going to get to the side of the Mayor. And doing this has allowed Jack Hitt to maybe stalk his prey a little bit. Can the Owl swoop in here? That 217 looking on the top shelf. Trying to grip those claws in, find some traction. Running out of time, though. We're at the halfway point, 12 to go. And, man, Jack Hitt is all over the back end of the Demon. Jacket as we ride on board. Maybe the best view in the house here. As he's half a lane higher than everybody else, really trying to build up some steam in this 217. And you can make it work, but you can't make a mistake. You got to keep it straight as you can coming off the corners if you want that momentum to build, and you don't want to give it all back up. And, man, as soon as he starts getting on the Desert Demon, well, Terry turns the wick up downstairs, trying to make a move on the mare. They're side by side. Steve Bixler with a little bit of a hiccup now on the outside. They were almost 3 wide. Terry Landis clears. He's on up to P2. Jacket working the bottom. Trying to use the basement to get to P3. Side by side. Give it to the mare at the line. Jacket not going away here as we've got 7 to play. Little contact. The mare goes up the hill, climbs up into kisses. But man, just lost out on a podium as he sees the 217 and the 161. Climb away here, Jacket, with 5 to go. Can he work around the Desert Demon? Terry Landis gets sideways on the entry to the corner, fights it the whole way, loses P2. Jacket, oh man, he's got 4 laps. Can the 217, can the gentleman run down Blake Chapman? 3 to go, Jacket. You see the lead staying around that 9/10 of a second mark. I just don't know if Jacket's got enough time because Blake Chapman coming to 2 to go, and he's sitting it right around 3/4 of a second lead as we watch him go through 3 and 4. White flag in the air, final time around for Blake Chapman. Jacket trying to work. Battle on for third. Steve Bixler's come back into the picture, but we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. Blake Chapman back to back brings home the checkered flag. Wild ride for the mare as he crosses the start finish line. Jacket P2. Landis holds off for third. Steve Bixler fourth. Brian Moore Sr. fifth. And Bob DeGood coming home P6. Actually, I need to start doing this. Okay, never mind. My results button doesn't work. So that's another one that I need to program myself. But I do know how to do it. Manually. There we go. Pretty good run here from the gang tonight. Another flag to flag race. And let's see here if we can find the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. And we do. We'll pull him on up here. Well, Terry,
Hey.
man, oh man, back-to-back podiums. I know not a super large field here, man, but you guys up front, man, you were battling hard. And, I mean, one mistake from either of those guys, and you were right there, dude. How'd the race car feel?
It was hooked up. It was my dumb fault to keep hitting the inside wall, but yeah, it was running good, and kudos to them 2 guys. I mean, it was, even though it's a small bunch of cars, it's a lot of talent here.
Yeah, were you surprised there at the end, and this is no shot at him because, oh boy, you know as well as I do, Terry, he has improved so much. But Steve Bixler, dude, he was hounding you, man. What was that like running with the mare out there?
I knew he was back there. I heard him. I think he might have even got aside of me a couple times, but yeah, he's coming into his own. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man, it was fun seeing him keep pace with you guys. Brian Moore Sr. too, not too far back off the pace. So hopefully we got him hooked and can keep him coming in here because these things are a lot of fun, man. You guys put on another good show. 30 laps green flag or 25 laps green flag again. Man, 2 of them. That's 50 in a row. So hell of a job there, Terry. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
Thanks, Shaggy. Cousin Steve. does some golf clubs, and Shaggy TV, and the other cousin, and all the admins behind the scenes, and C2C for giving us, we put on a heck of a show tonight. It was a lot of fun. Gave me a good workout. And Kreitz Whole Track Racing Parts, because you can buy some new stuff there. It's really good. And guys back KSR and Blake, he's always a lot of fun. Gallons, homegrown popcorn, use word cart, and get 50% off Jeter and my wife Judy.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Terry. Congratulations, man. Can't wait to talk to you again.
And Flatline Racing Potties.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's okay.
Oh,
No, it gets the most attention when you do it like that. You should just keep doing it like that.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Think about it. Yeah, think about it. They're getting the best spot, really, because you're like, wait, hold up. And then we have this conversation. So, Flatline Racing Buddies getting the recognition they deserve. Hell of a run, Terry.
Thanks, Shaggy. It was fun.
My man bringing home P3, and now we bring up the man who brought home P2. Jack just couldn't get that caution flag you needed, man. You're doing the Blake thing, starting in the back, I assume, trying to work your way to the front, and man, you were quick. Just ran out of time after having to pick your way through the field.
Well, I kind of ran into Bob in the heat race, so I put myself in the back of the feature, and I don't know what I was doing in qualifying, and I was setting up a second lap. Turned out it was my third lap, so kind of sandbagged that on accident. But yeah, wish we had a bigger car count, but it's still fun.
Yeah, it's the Outlaws, dude. All the Canadians are gone. They're up there at Ashweekend. Yeah, you're a
Yeah, they're
Canadian.
watching
What
like
are
a
you doing?
basketball game, aren't they?
Wait,
I'm
you're not Canadian?
Unless
Hang on,
Missouri's
is
Canada.
Okay, you're right. I looked at SDK wrong. I thought you were the only one with the Canadian flag next to your name. You're right. Okay. I'm sorry, Jack.
No, you're fine. I mean,
Don't take offense to that. I know how we feel
I've
right
thought
now.
about it.
Yeah, I know how we feel about this Canadians. We can speak up now. They're all busy tonight, but man, is it one of those things where you think maybe? I know you don't want the late race caution, but you were reeling in Blake a little bit. I mean, do you think you would have had anything for him? I know this is one of the tracks, has kind of been his bread and butter, but I mean, you were reeling him in. Did you have something for him?
I think I would have, a little more time, or if we just had a slicker track. It was kind of hard to really be too much faster than anybody.
Nah, I feel you there. Yeah, you kind of need the level to wear out there so you can use the throttle control to your advantage. But hey, hell of a run, Jack. Congratulations on the P2, man. Who you want to thank?
Got to thank you for putting on the broadcast. The handful of guys coming out and putting on a good race. Got to thank everybody behind the scenes, coast to coast. We just went through with a charity event. Thanks to Dean, Jeff, Bob, Bill. They were the four that kind of ran everything, and got to thank my wife for giving me time to do it. And I'm terrible at this. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bots for sponsoring not only our division here, but Hometown Heroes as a whole.
Yeah, man, they're a big part of Coast to Coast. Definitely wouldn't have a lot of these without them. But congratulations on the big win, Jack, and hopefully I talk to you again soon, man.
Thanks, Zach.
Jack hit, bringing home P2. I think I may have said, I think I just realized, Blake, why Jack laughed. Okay. I think I just said, congratulations on the big win, man. Have a good night whenever I kicked him out there. And that just processed on me because, well, he didn't win this thing. You did, man. You got out front fairly early, made quick work in the heat race. Wanted to start up there, make it easy. And were you surprised, though, because I did mention him to Terry. Dude, Steve Bixler was giving you a fit there for a while, and man, it took Terry a long time to get by him. I think we may have woken a beast there in that 75.
Yeah, he was impressive. He hung right with me for a lot of laps there, and I'm surprised, but really not surprised, because tonight I know Terry was sharing some secrets with us, and Bixler was trying him out, and he got used to it in the warm up. So, and it worked out for him well. And I tried the same secrets that Terry was telling him, and I could not handle the car, man. I'm not gonna give away all what Terry's doing, but I'll tell you, it's like driving a completely different car the way he sets it up. So, Yeah, he definitely didn't make it easy on me tonight, but fortunately we were starting on the pole. It was pretty hammer down track there, right in the middle. And the line moved up just a little bit towards the end, and we were able to, just hold on and hammer down all the way throughout this race and hold on to a win.
Yeah, man, and not to say that it wasn't easy, but Jack kind of will call a spade too, and I think, man, this is just going to be a product of the beast in this thing until we can get more guys. I mean, with everybody running this race, running the 360 previous, we just don't get that track wear. So until we can get maybe that 10 or so car count, I don't know. I don't think we can ever go back to the predetermined track states just because they're too inconsistent. But man, I think we're gonna have a lot of hammer down here till we build it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think unfortunately that's the case. I think it's probably this. It must be this Wednesday night slot, because I figured everybody kind of figured last season it was Huset's because a lot of people didn't like it. I wasn't one of those people. Obviously, I love that track, but a lot of people didn't like the track, so I figured that we would get more cars this Wednesday night this season, and that just hasn't been the case for whatever reason. We used to get a really high car count for
Oh, we were
Hometown Heroes.
sending guys home.
Yeah, yeah, those were the days of the Hometown Heroes, which hopefully one day that'll come back to that. But unfortunately, this season hasn't been super high car counts. I think this is probably the lowest it's been all season. So, hopefully that's just a product of people are busy as it's warming up, and obviously the Outlaws are out this weekend, so that takes a couple guys away. So hopefully these next couple of weeks we can start getting more cars.
Yeah, speaking of Blake, they got late models out there on the track, but we better hurry up, man. You better do your thank yous. We got to get ready to go see what Dylan Westbrook can do tonight, man. He made the feature, so
Oh, really?
for him. Yep, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be pulling for him. That's for sure.
Yep. Well, hey, congratulations, Blake. You know the deal, man. Lots and lots of sponsors. Let's hear them.
Yeah, first I got to thank the parents for watching. Of course, I got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for running with me every week. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this division. Got to thank Mauer Farm Management. Got to thank Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. Shout out to him for the good run tonight. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They have some really delicious popcorn. You can head over to their website and check it out for yourselves. Don't forget to use code CART. That's CART at checkout for 15% off some of the very delicious popcorn. And I got to thank everyone involved in putting this league on. And of course, you, my long lost cousin Shaggy, for broadcasting this every week.
Well, hey, man, hell of a run. Look forward to talking to you again here soon. Any chance we get you out here tomorrow with all the Canadians being gone? It may be a cheap chance for one of us to try to steal one.
Probably not. I don't know what I got going on tomorrow. I know my Thunder play tomorrow night. It's a pretty big game for them, so probably won't see me tomorrow night.
Well, hey, man, have fun and behave yourself, kid. Good run tonight.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Blake Chapman bringing home 2 out of the 3 wins tonight here, but the final one to wrap up your Flatline Racing Bodies hometown heroes here at the Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55. Blake wins 2. Brian Moore Sr. wins the first. Good runs here on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. But on behalf of all the sponsors, we'd like to thank you for tuning in and sticking around this long. Tune in tomorrow night. We got a little Thursday Night Thunder coming to you live at 7 Eastern. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and have a good night.